Hi, I'm Sally Stubbs, and a really warm welcome. And you may notice that I'm even more excited on our second video blog than I was on our first one, because we've had so many really great messages, which is absolutely fantastic. So today we're going to explore the strategy that we explored on our first video, which is called Keep Yourself in the Picture. If you need to remind yourself, go have a look at that. It's on YouTube and Facebook and various other places. We're going to explore that strategy because there's an awful lot to it. But first of all, I just wanted to mention that quite a number of people have inquired of me about the videos that we do have on YouTube, which is one track, and examples such as to help you lose weight, to cure your insomnia, to cure your nervousness, and so on. So there's a whole stream of them up there on YouTube. And they do help. They do help with whatever of those symptoms you're presenting. By allegory, it's a bit like if you'd been in a desert and you didn't have water and you were dehydrated. Those tracks will give you a few sips of good, pure water and will help you feel so much better. But they will not, 90% of the time, thoroughly rehydrate you, which is why I developed the Rafa audio courses as half an hour a day for 40 days. And again, by allegory, they will thoroughly rehydrate you and resolve the presenting symptom you have. So again, you may be wondering, why am I talking to you like this? And in our first video blog, I mentioned it's because I know what you really want. And what you really want, generally speaking, is to be happier. Happier in your own skin. Happier with yourself and being yourself. And the reason I want that, just briefly, is that in the late 1970s, I had a crisis in my own life. And so I searched high and low and far and wide. And I went to loads and loads of therapies and therapists and tried many strategies. And they helped for a while. But they didn't really thoroughly and authentically work to help me resolve the suffering which I had and was experiencing in the late 70s. I wasn't sleeping, I was frightened, I was nervous, I couldn't speak up, my weight was yo-yoing, and so on. So I went on a mission, which was to discover, and I have, in the last 30 years, what really does work authentically and lastingly. So I've put all that together as my Rafa therapy strategies. So let's have a look at the strategy we were exploring on my first video blog. Gonna stand up. So we were considering that, as a metaphor, this is yourself in the balance, able to be flexible with whatever's going on in the world, able to move out into the world if something's wrong, and also to step back, but from this very firm sense of ourself. So today, we think about seeing a therapist or researching for an audio therapy course, which we can do in the privacy of our own home. And today, the therapist or the therapy comes along. And the therapist or therapy says, I will make you confident. And will continue to say, well-meaning, well-educated, I will make you thin. I will make you sleep. I will stop your fears and nervousness. And today we go, wow, thank you. That's so great. do it for me. But the problem does not belong today. It may belong to a fragment of ourselves a year or 2 years ago, or much earlier on in our life, when out there the world didn't feel safe. And that was the truth, that it didn't feel safe. So instead of confronting the world, which I was requesting you did in the first video block, we stepped back and back and back, and we couldn't confront the world. So when the therapist or therapy is coming towards us in the present day, this fragment of ourselves that has the problem, but also had the wisdom to stay put here and not confront the world, doesn't want to move forward. It isn't safe to move forward in the world. And so what the therapy today needs to communicate with the unconscious part of our mind, is that fragment of the self, to simplistically honour and respect that that fragment of ourself originally was attempting to keep us safe. I hope that makes sense, and that when and if you did practice that strategy in the privacy of your own home, and you thought of that symptom that you're dealing with day in and day out, that emotional Groundhog Day, that when you attempted to step forward and confront it, whatever it is, that actually in that stepping forward, inside of you, there would have been some feeling of resistance, or in your thoughts, there would have been some feeling of resistance. So consider that what we're doing, and what I've been developing with Rafa, is the ability to communicate and deliver the right kind of language to the fragment of ourself that went into hiding. For it is the fragment of ourself that is driving our present day problem, whatever that is. Again, just considering the insomnia, the fears, the nervousness, the stressing, and let's just, to make sense of this, consider and take the problem of weight gain, which is quite a big problem, and a lot of weight gain, as we all very well know, can damage our health, can damage our body. That the ability to say no in the present day to food will be a projection of the fragment of ourself that stepped almost out of the picture of life at some time in life, some experience, couldn't say no to what was going on in their world and in their environment, because that fragment of self perceived it would not be safe to say no. No to a teacher, no to a parent, no to the bullies in the playground. So saying no in this present day to food doesn't feel safe. And oddly enough, saying yes to food is kind of comforting because it holds us back from life. Hope I'm making sense, and I want to talk to you a wee bit more about this next time we meet. Thank you for listening. Looking forward to talking to you again.